Bring in more revenue while saving money and differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack vying to win those guests by becoming more environmentally friendly. We will show you how easy it is and how cheap it can be, if not free, and share all the opportunities available. So join us each week as we take another step along the green path. That's one more step to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack. The Green Path podcast is kindly sponsored by Sustonica, the first sustainability certification for vacation rentals that audits homes on their environmentally friendly setup, installs smart measuring tools for water, gas and electricity, and offers an iPad for guests to see their real-time consumption levels. Learn more at sustonica.com. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Green Path podcast. We talk as part of the travel and short-term rental industry about our impact on the environment. But it's not just us playing a part. Hotels are already walking down their own green path. And today I'm chatting with one who is, and I quote, a whole life net zero hotel. 100% of the carbon emissions from the conception through to end of life have been reduced and rebalanced to zero. This is the first hotel in the world to do so. So today I'm chatting with Jo from that very hotel, Room2 in Chiswick, London. Hello, Jo. How are you?
Hi, Deborah. I'm well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure, and thank you very much for your time. I think I'm going to start this episode with a viewer and listener warning. Do not attempt to do all the things that Room2 has done, because it's actually a little bit mind-boggling. So sit back, listen to what this hotel has done, because it's incredible. Maybe be inspired, but let's go. Let's start with the journey of Room2. So let's start with where it started from. How did Room2 come to be carbon zero? The whole story. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we've got to go back to 1967 for that. Room2 Hotels is owned by our parent company called the Lamington Group, which was started in 1967 by the Godwin family. We are still very proud to say that we are still family run and very much independent on that. So yeah, in 1967, the Godwin family, they were property developers. So they bought up townhouses in Hammersmith and converted them into flats, to sell on the AST market, etc. Then in 2006, we came into the short let or service apartment world. So we flipped a few of them onto those, and that's where the Lamington Apartments brand came from. But then in 2015, Gillian and Stuart Godwin, mum and dad, decided it was time to retire, and their two sons, Robert and Stuart, took over the business. Mm-hmm. And Room2 Hotels was basically their stamp on the business. Mm-hmm. It was where they saw the future of accommodation going, and it's what they wanted to progress. And there's actually a backstory to that too. The boys were both Olympic sailors for Team GB. So they were traveling the world, having to stay in accommodation, but they had to keep their training up and, keep their diet correct and do the right exercises just so they were at their maximum capacity while they were competing. And they struggled to find accommodation, that suited all of their needs in certain locations. So that's where Room2 Hotels came from.
Wow.
Yeah. So great story. And it's kind of like, it just comes out of personal experiences from the boys. So
yes.
That's why we're not just a standard hotel. So it's why we call ourselves a hotel. So we are in the middle of a hotel and an Airbnb, basically.
Yeah.
So they're all studio apartments with kitchenettes, so you can cook if you like, or, order in. They all have a dining table, a sofa. Obviously, you've got your bed, in your bathroom as well.
But how did the environmentally friendly aspect come into the story? Whose idea was that?
Again, it was the boys, yeah. So a couple of years ago, they went on a family holiday to South Africa. Over Christmas, they were getting together, and they saw firsthand the effects that the climate change or the climate emergency has seen, not only on the planet, but actually the environments, around it, like the communities. They went on a safari. There was one watering hole left, out of what used to be 5, and it was being pumped by men, like man, to make sure that the animals had enough drinking water. And they chatted to some farmers who just couldn't grow crops on their land anymore because it was just so dry and they didn't have the resource. And so therefore they were having to move into different industries and move their families away and kind of just move away from their way of life. And so it's at that point that the boys just thought, right, we are in a huge industry. So buildings across the world, they're the equivalent of 40% of the carbon emissions and that are produced worldwide. And they said, we have buildings, we're looking to build buildings. Yes. So what actually can we do to put a stop to this? Or, well, not a stop, but what can we do to help? Yeah. What can we do personally to make sure that we're not being part of the problem, but being part of the solution?
Yeah. Well, it's incredible because the depth that they've gone to be so carbon neutral, 0%, whatever. It started, I looked on your website, and it started with the material extraction for the materials they're using in the construction are green. And then the transport to the factory, and then the manufacturing, and then the transport. My God, I mean, this is every step of the way. And then it even went through to the deconstruction of the building. That's a huge journey for a building, and to be green every step of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I say, they were Olympians, so outperformance is in the boys' DNA. So yeah, there we go. If you're going to do something, do it right. We had the opportunity with Chiswick, Room2 Chiswick, to get it right. We were building it. So yeah, the boys just went in. We actually got a sustainability team internally in place, obviously to keep us on track, because by all means the boys are not experts and I'm not an expert either, but they understood that they needed that expert help to say, right, we want to do this, we want to do it properly. And so we got teams in. We also went out and used a lot of resources that are out there at the moment. So there's a few different ones, like the SME Climate Hub. So that's basically how to commit, act and report on climate action. And it gives free tools and guides and just kind of hot tips and stuff like that. So yeah, but they wanted to basically do the whole thing properly rather than just little bits here and little bits there.
Wow. So not only so starting from construction, it was all green every step of the way, and now you have a hotel.
Yeah.
How is it sustainable? I've read a couple of things like the ultra low water shower head with a power shower effect. Like, that sounds pretty amazing. I always don't like the idea of these water saving shower heads because I've got a lot of hair to wet, and this little dribble shower is like, it's going to take me longer in the shower to wet my hair. But so can you please go through all the things that the hotel rooms have that are sustainable or environmentally friendly?
Yeah, so there's 102 points about the building. So I'll pick out a few that people might be interested in to go through. So yeah, to start on the showers. So at the end of the day, when we were doing this, we are still a hotel and guest experience is still at our heart. So we wanted the design of it and also the functionality of it to be appealing to guests. But we've used technology is the be all and end all of that kind of section. So with the showers, it pumps air through with the water, which then gives that power shower feeling. So there is restrictors on there. Normally a tap runs at 22 litres per second, whereas ours run at 6. But you still get that power shower because it pumps air through with it. So you can feel it, really feel it on your skin. Yeah. And we actually get very good reviews from the showers.
Excellent.
Which is great. Yeah, but in terms of the rest of the rooms, we've obviously got motion censored electrics, so it doesn't connect to the fridge freezer. Obviously that has to stay on all the time, or the air conditioning, so you can leave that on while you're out of the room, so you can have it at your own temperature. But everything else is on a motion censored, so it'll turn off when you're not in there. I'm actually in a room at the moment, so I'm just like looking around. We've got air filtration and purifying systems so that all the air in the room is always as pure as it can be, and we monitor that as well.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of tech, all of our appliances are low energy intensity, and that's including the kettle and the toaster, and everything like that. So yeah, and then we have our 3-in-1 recycle bins, which
Mm-hmm.
actually we designed ourselves, because when we went out to market, they were all pretty ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And again, design and functionality of it, we wanted it to be. So we send nothing to landfill.
Yes, that's a big one. That one I was going to say, wait a second. I mean, we all have some rubbish, but how do you get away with that?
Yeah, so again, it's just the supplier you choose. So we've chosen a supplier that also reports on what they do with your rubbish after it's been taken away. So in general, the general waste, so the stuff that you can't recycle or it's not food waste, goes to get burnt, to produce electricity. And then that can either be used to recycle the recycling, that's in the other side of the bin, or for other uses, and then the food waste gets composted.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Yeah. I just wanted to also ask about the electricity. So you, on your website, it says something about the geothermal power below the ground. Now, something about 200 meters down. What are you doing?
Yeah. So the whole building's run by ground source heat pumps. Well, not the whole building. Ground source heat pumps, they're basically 17 big metal berthings that go 200 meters down into the earth. And that means that we take a percentage of our cooling and heating that we need for the building from the actual earth itself. When the building's hot, the heat goes down into the earth. And then when the building's cool, we use the earth to bring the heat back up into the building.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, that's kind of a big step. And it was one that we were luckily able to do. If you are in London and there's a tube station underneath you, you're out. You can't go 200 meters down. So we were lucky with the site that we could do it.
Yeah.
You can go outwards with ground source heat pumps as well, rather than down. But again, you can't dig underneath everyone else's properties around you. So
Yeah.
it depends. And then the other side to that is air source heat pumps. So it's the same concept, but it's just like it uses the air outside. So when it's cool, it brings in cool air, and when it's warm, it brings in warm air.
Okay. And you have solar panels as well.
Yeah, we have 56 solar panels on the roof.
Yeah.
So they should equate to about 8% of our energy. We are totally transparent in everything we do. They're not at the moment. They're probably doing about 5 or 6%. So we are looking into the technology behind it to see where that kind of difference is coming from and how we can fix that moving forwards.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes we forget that being environmentally friendly or the sustainability aspect is not just about greening your property. Your bespoke furniture is made locally. So you're using local handicrafts as well. I like that.
Yeah. So it's very much about the environment. We use One Planet Living. It's great. It's a framework. It's got, I think, 10 different parts of it. One of them's obviously net zero. One of them's no waste, water waste. But then the other one is community and local kind of produce. So also it is more carbon efficient to use local suppliers, obviously, and because there's no kind of transportation of anything. And they tend to be, with handmade, they source their products, more sustainably. But yeah, it just brings money into the local economy and around us. And that's also one of our company pillars in general, is community. So we also try and buy local, procure local, do what we can. So yeah, all of the kind of loose fittings are all handmade.
Yeah, lovely. Now, you say on your website that you are 89% more efficient than other hotels. How does that work?
Than a standard hotel. So it's everything that we've put in. So we do only use green energy. So we obviously have to buy electricity from the grid. But our supplier is green, so it's hydro, water, etc. Wind, hydro. But we also only take what we need. So you can actually overtake from the grid, where we've put the technology in to only actually take what the building needs at any one time. And then all of it, the ground source heat pumps, everything like that, means that we're using the earth and everything else around it to bring in the energy that we need. We also have no gas on any of our sites, so we're electric only.
Is gas a dirty energy?
It's not a dirty energy, but it does use natural resources. So gas is obviously a natural resource, and it will run out. We are using it faster than it's producing itself.
Right.
Whereas obviously electricity with hydro and wind, it's kind of constant. It's
I like this podcast because even I'm learning. I was going to say also about the motion detectors turning lights off and things like that. I suppose that's already a saving there. Out of interest, in the public corridors of the hotel rooms, is that also on motion? Because at night time the lights are always on, and I'm thinking in the apartment buildings that I've got property, why are the lights on 24/7? Why not motion? 3 o'clock in the morning, you might get one person stumbling home. Why are all the lights on for that person?
Yeah, or everything's motion censored within the whole building. Yeah, so all of the communal areas, etc. Obviously downstairs there's a lot of people milling about in the kind of cafe bar area. So they tend to stay on until it's completely empty.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and that is a big use of energy in hotels, is people lights on.
Yes. And you've got that cafe downstairs. I suppose it's all local supply again.
All local supply, all we tend to be as vegan as possible. We do have meat options, obviously. Again, it's guest experience. But we try and stick to plant-based wherever we can. We also sell our own produce, so we've got 3 beehives on the roof.
Yes, I was going to come to the roof. That's very interesting.
For biodiversity. So we harvest that honey and we use it downstairs, and we also sell it as well.
Yes, so you have a green roof with 75,000 bees living up there.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, so that gives you the honey, but there's a bug hotel. Do you have other bugs in there too, or just the bees?
Well, hopefully we've got other bugs up there. I haven't been up since actually we opened. But it's to bring biodiversity into the area. So there is little bug hotels, and they're kind of made as just a little safe haven. They also look quite cute on the roof. I'm not gonna lie, you can see them out the window of some of the rooms. So, and they're just like little wooden structures, and it is birds use them, for nests. Other bugs kind of can utilize them. Wood lice love to be at home in them and stuff like that.
Okay.
Little thing that you can do. It's quite quirky. It looks nice to guests, but it also brings in, a safe haven for a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. So forget the rooftop bar. The bugs have it. The bugs have the roof.
The bugs are chilling out with a Chardonnay in the roof.
Now, from what I understand, underneath that green roof, you have a blue roof. So what does the blue roof do?
So the blue roof collects rainwater and stores it, and then trickles it out into the drains very slowly, just so that we will never flood the area. So if the drains were to be blocked, etc., we can cut it off, we can stop, and we can hold 50,000 litres of water on our roof.
Wow.
And so it just means that this vicinity of the property should never flood.
Sounds like a good pool, but no. Okay.
Pool for the bugs in the winter,
It all adds up, doesn't it? Perfect. Guest experience.
Exactly.
So speaking of the guests again, do any of your guests come to you specifically because you are so sustainable?
Yes.
Okay.
A high percentage of them.
Right.
What we've recently done actually is send out a survey to all of our previous guests saying, asking for their feedback and if they have any ideas and stuff like that. So we like to get them involved, as well. So what do they want from us? Like, what can we do better for them? From the corporate world, we have seen an increase in corporates, not just from the local area, but more central London, looking to book us because they're on their own journeys. And a stay with Room2 Chiswick means that you are emitting no carbon because we've done it for you. And we can give reports that show, against the standard hotel, this is obviously how much you've saved, etc. So everyone's kind of on their journey. So it's a big kind of tick box. But there is a preconception. Obviously, we kind of split at leisure and corporate clients, that a sustainable hotel is going to be more expensive. Or not. You know, STR reporting, etc. We use it all. We still have to be competitive in a market. So we're actually on par with the other properties within the area. And that is going to be lack of design. So it's going to be wooden or bland or yeah, when I first started chatting about this carbon whole life carbon net zero hotel, they were like, oh, is it made of air? It's going to be a greenhouse. I was like, greenhouse in London would be pretty cool, like massive thing on stilts. But no, it's still going to be design led. And it's once people walk through the door, they kind of understand it. Also on the guest experience side, we try not to be preachy and make things difficult for guests to be sustainable. Like the bins is a great example. You open it up and you just make a choice on which hole to put it in. You know, you're not walking over here to recycle or opening this on the counter to put your food in, you know, your food waste in. It's you're at the bin already, just drop it in the right one. It's the motion sensors, you know, it's the produce, it's everything.
So in terms of the guest experience, nothing is sacrificed.
No, that was our like main focus as well. So sustainability and guest experience just went up and up and up together. So we had some great sustainability ideas, but the guest experience would have been lowered. Hence designing our own bins. That was it. We could have just bought one off the shelf. But we thought, right, how can we do it better for the guests?
And do your guests actually mention this sustainability aspect in their reviews?
Yes, some of them do, the ones that, but it's the showers mainly. Everyone's super surprised that, you know, they are still power showers, and yet they use less water. And the bins, obviously, we get a lot of comments on the gym. We have the gym on site, so that's got the Peloton, things like that. So,
all right, they actually power the electricity, you know, the bikes.
We said that. We said, let's just hook them all up and the guests can actually run the hotel themselves. But no, we're not quite that advanced yet.
I was going to say, one of the things that we talk about is how do you promote to your guests or website visitors about what you're doing? How do you promote the fact that you are 100% carbon neutral? How do you promote it?
So we have a sustainability dedicated page on our website. So if people are coming direct to us, it's quite obvious kind of where it is. And you can read through all of the like little bits. It's very consumer kind of friendly website. It's not got all the jargon in it, you know, that some people may not understand. So that's kind of leisure based. Obviously now the likes of booking.com, which we obviously utilize, Expedia, they do have a travel sustainably badge. Got a bit of contention about that though.
It's got to evolve, I think.
There's a lot more they could be doing to let people make more informed choices. It's just a tick box exercise, so you can tick all the boxes. Nobody actually checks what you're doing, and you know, kind of we are on the same par as another hotel which recycles, and that's it. They have the badge and we have the badge.
There's no scale.
There's no scale. Exactly. And that's on these kind of booking platforms.
Well, you might want to have a little peek at this at the sponsor of the podcast at the moment, Sustonica. They're looking into all the things that you're doing and checking on you too. So it's not you, but yes.
And that's it. Like, hold yourself accountable for it. You know, like if you've got these great ideas and, you know, ambitions, then great. You've got to be actually doing them and making sure that you're accountable for them too.
Well, this has been an all-encompassing episode. I mean, you know, from getting the materials to build your property right through. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you might want to add? Anything else about the guest experience or efficiencies or anything else?
Oh, I could talk all day about it, and I'm not even an expert. You know, like that's it. The amount that I've learned personally over this journey is crazy. But the one thing that I get the most is, where do I start? Like, you know, it's a big world out there. And to be fair, like decarbonising is just one part of the whole journey to get there. And so I've got 5 really quick and easy wins if you are, you know, service apartment provider or a hotel, that you can implement pretty quickly to get up. So the first one is switch to a green energy provider. That's it, you know. They also will help you and use what you need from the grid, but also, you know, it's wind, it's hydro, etc. So, and that's nice and easy. There's loads of them out there now. So obviously you can just go and compare and get the best deal for you. Recycle. Put recycling bins in and do it properly though. So get a partner that takes it away, that you know what they're doing with it. It's not just all being lumped into one bag. And that's also kind of on your staff as well. So our staff, sounds gross, bless them, go through the bins and just make sure that everything is in the correct one. So if something that can be recycled is in the general waste, they flip it into the recycling, so that we're kind of keeping up that way. No single-use plastics. You know, like yes, we do have plastic shampoo and conditioner bottles in the shower, but they're refillable. It's the same as all of our cleaning products. They're all refillable, and we buy the refills, which are in recyclable cartons, etc.
Just a question there, though. With your kitchens, do you supply like salt or olive oil or something to get someone started?
We don't do olive oil. We do salt, pepper, tea, coffee.
Right. Are they in like paper sachets, or are they just in big refillable sort of containers?
So the salt and pepper are in refillable grinders. The tea bags, again, guest experience and also health and safety. You can't have a big tub because you've got to put the hand in it and not wash them after the toilet. You know, like you don't want that. So they are in single packaging, but the supplier we use is cradle to cradle sustainable. So they're all recyclable or compostable.
Yes, great. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to double check that, because that's what some people are questioning, like, how do I do this? So that's great to know. Yeah.
And I know we had a conversation about the milk last time, and we came up with a solution. So again, milk, you don't want to put a whole carton in there because people may not use it and then it goes to waste, etc. So now we have little refillable glass cute jugs, and it just says on it, take me downstairs to get some fresh milk. So then you fill it up for them, and you keep that in the fridge, you know, for the amount of time that you're here. And then, or it just says text us and we'll bring some up. So, you know, if the guests want to leave, if they're settled in for the night, the team, we use WhatsApp for everything. So they just WhatsApp the team and they'll bring it up for them.
Sounds great. I like that idea. Very, very good solution.
Yeah. So that was a brainstorm internally. It's like, what can we do with the milk? It's all these little steps. And then, the fifth one is install it in your teams. We now also personally kind of live and breathe sustainability. It's always on our mind. But like, even personally, like, oh, can I take the train instead of flying? I'm off to GBTA in Brussels next week. I'm getting Eurostar instead of flying. You know, it's like little things like that. But also we have KPIs as teams to be more sustainable within the business as well, and only use sustainable providers, and, you know, travel less or longer, you know, if you need to, etc. So, and like I say, they're installed in us because they're part of our KPIs now.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And they're 5 quick wins. I've got 5 more expensive wins.
Okay, just rattle the 5 more expensive ones off quickly.
Yeah, really quick. So solar panels, get them on the roof. Ground source or air source heat pumps, you know, we've chatted about them. Remove gas out of the building, so obviously retrofit, and insulate. So if you're refurbing, make sure you insulate, and then change out all boilers. You know, if you've got an older kind of boiler in, look for a more energy efficient one. Yeah.
Great.
They'll cost you a bit of cash.
Yeah. But Joe, this has been absolutely eye-opening, honestly. You know, like I didn't realize you could have such an expanse of greening from beginning to end, and it's been great, especially the shower. I like the shower idea, especially if the guests are commenting about it in reviews. I might have to put a link to it in the description below.
Please do.
Speaking of which, I will put all the links that we've mentioned, I'll put them in the description below. And if you have any questions for Joe or Room 2, stick them in the comments below. Let's get this conversation started. Joe, thank you so much for your time. It's been really, really great hearing all about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode and were at least a little bit inspired. If you'd like to catch up on the other episodes that you've missed, just head to thegreenpathpodcast.com. See you next time.